Hey everyone, Richard Phillips back at you with some more modern action. Today we're going to be playing something a little bit different than what I usually produce for this channel. For this channel I've been playing a lot of blue decks, especially bad blue decks, which I have a fascination with. Today I thought we'd do a little bit of an experiment. We are going to be playing Jund today. So Jund is probably the deck that people thought gained the most from the unbannings of Bloodbrain Elf and Jace the Mind Sculptor. And made a splash immediately and then kind of backed way off. Starting to resurge a little bit recently. However, in the new set Guilds of Ravnica, there's a card called Assassin's Trophy that a lot of people are really excited about, and so am I, for the Jund archetype. So I thought I'd do like a comparison, like a before and after. So I'd play through a league here of Jund, and then in a couple weeks when Guilds of Ravnica is released, see what kind of changes would be made to the deck in order to accommodate Assassin's Trophy, and if matchups get better or worse. Today I'm going to be playing a list that my buddy Connor Todd took to the 17th place at the last SCG event. So very good showing for him, good showing for the deck, and I just took his 75 and thought we'd run through a league. Apologize for a couple of like mismatched treetop villages and some other things like these goifs. Mana Traders is great, that's where I get all my cards from, but one of the things that they don't match art for you, so it's just sometimes a little unfortunate. Some things, I guess, to note about this list, some things that I like and some things that I don't like. One thing that I love is the 25 lands, especially the fact that there are 5 creature lands, which is, that's pretty incredible. 5 creature lands is great, gives you a lot of the ability to grind with people. You'll see a lot of lists with 24 lands. I think 25 is definitely correct. Other things I like a lot about this list is the inclusion of Dark Confidant. I don't like Grimflayer and Jund, never really have. A Dark Confidant, especially at a 3 number, not like a 4, but a 3, I think is really solid. I do like the 3 Liliana the Veils, 1 Liliana the Last Hope split. Liliana the Veil is incredibly powerful in the matchups that she's good in, but there's quite a few, like especially like token strategies and go wide strategies that you see in Modern right now, where she's just not particularly good. So excited to see what the split of 3 and 1 will do. The sideboard, I really like the 3 Leyline of the Void, which is a pretty solid amount of graveyard hate. I like the ability to grind with opponents with Chandra and Hazaret and Kitchen Finks. The inclusion of Kitchen Finks especially is exciting to me because Burn is usually a relatively tough matchup, but with Collective Brutality and Kitchen Finks in the board, excited to see what that can do against the field at large. All right, and with that, guys, we'll jump into a competitive league, and I'll see you at the beginning of round number 1. All right, everyone, welcome to round number 1. We've won the die roll, which is always good with a deck like this. And this hand is needing a black source. Wow. I think we're supposed to keep this hand, but we do need another black source to do like the perfect Thoughtseize into Dark Confidant into Liliana. So we'll definitely try to take a removal spell probably for this Dark Confidant. All right, Wrath of God. Oh, okay, so it's just like this like weird proc deck. This card's really cool, and it might be a little bit hard to beat. But we'll just take the Martyr of Sands because it's the only card that really matters in our opponent's hand. Starting to see a lot of these on Magic Online recently, actually. All right, so they play a Plains and pass. Even if they've drew Path, we'll be fine with that. Still definitely want to get this Goif going, so we'll do that. That way we can play the Stomping Grounds tapped if we don't get the land that we need. And both Lilianas are actually great in this matchup. All of their dudes are 1/1s immediate, like to start off at least. And Liliana the Veil will really quickly push out the Proclamation of Rebirth. Okay, the opponent is filling up on Squadron Hawks. They'll get a couple here, but Liliana the Last Hope is actually really good against Squadron Hawks. So if we draw a black land here, we'll be in great shape. And we don't. And we don't again. Ooh, that's unfortunate. All right, well, we can at least Inquisition our opponent to get rid of the Proclamation, which might be actually a pretty big deal, and then we can play a Tarmogoyf. Yeah, it seems like the best play to me. So we'll just go ahead and take that Proclamation. And we'll just go ahead and play a Tarmogoyf because our opponent's going to eventually have to commit to this Wrath of God, and we'd rather them do it, sooner rather than later. So our opponent will most likely just play another Squadron Hawk. No, okay, they drew a Martyr of Sands. And are just going to pass. Okay, so they'll just gain a bunch of life with the Martyr of Sands. Abrupt Decay, that doesn't really do anything. And another Tarmogoyf, wow. All right, well, we know that they have Wrath of God for next turn, so I'm not going to play into that. So I'll just attack with this Tarmogoyf and pass the turn. So the fact that we have not gotten to our Wrath of God, or to our Liliana, is really causing us a lot of trouble this game. All right, so our opponent just reveals all their cards again. We know all 6 cards in their hand, I believe. Actually, I guess they played one of these planes. Oh, okay, so they're going to try to take us off black mana here. We'll get the swamp. Oh, maybe, I guess so they haven't drawn another land, maybe. I'm trying to figure out what we missed. I guess it was just the not drawing another land. So they're stuck on 3 lands with... No, okay, they do have a Ghost Quarter, okay. Okay, so now they're just Ghost Quartering this, and we'll get a swamp out of it so we can start casting our stuff. That seems really good for us, actually. No reason to kill this Squadron Hawk because we're going to just play the Liliana, and here we go. All right, so we'll go ahead and play this Liliana the Last Hope and tick up on the Squadron Hawk. And I'm playing the Bloodstained Mire because we might need red mana for next turn. Actually, we most certainly will need red mana for next turn. So, actually, no, I guess we don't necessarily need red mana for next turn. There we go. It took a while, but we figured it out. We will probably need to do something about this Dark Confidant at some point because it is killing us. Our opponent does have Wrath of God. They'll probably cast it here. Yeah, okay, so there's Wrath of God. All right, so our opponent kills it for us, which is fine. We'll go ahead and get red. I guess there's only one red-green land in the deck, so we have to get red here. So I guess we'll just get Blood Crypt. That's probably fine. Yeah. All right, and there's a Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze is actually really good against what our opponent's going to be doing late game. I guess we'll just play the Overgrown Tomb here, and we will get down a Goyf. And probably a Liliana. Yeah, let's just be mana efficient. We'll just get down the Liliana, and we'll discard a second Goyf. Because our opponent's at 27, and beating our opponent down isn't doing particularly too much. And we can always get these things back with Liliana later. But our opponent has only 2 Squadron Hawks left, and they've also used this Wrath of God. And Squadron Hawk's actually really bad against the board. Our opponent has another Field of Ruin, so they can get rid of our Blood Crypt, so we won't have red mana, which is a little unfortunate. And there's no basic mountain in this deck. All right, Thraben Inspector's fine. All right, and the opponent plays another Squadron Hawk. They have no cards in hand. All right, there's a Wooded Foothills, which is a nice pickup. I think we'll probably just go ahead and clear everything out here. I'm tempted to just get rid of this Clue. The Clue's probably better than everything else that they have. We'll just go ahead and get green-black here. Get rid of this Clue. Tick up on the bird. Go ahead and play the Scavenging Ooze. And our opponent just concedes. Okay, so we have pretty much enough to lock our opponent out. They can't really fight through this Liliana, and we're going to be pressuring their life total quite a bit. All right, so in this matchup, what are some cards that we like versus some cards that we don't like? Well, we know that they have Wrath of God, and generally when your opponent has Wrath of God, you want to bring in indestructible threats, so I'm tempted to just kind of bring in our grindy package of these guys here, plus like a Damnation and a Maelstrom Pulse. All these cards are like really, really grindy, and I like that. But the thing is that we already have a lot of cards that are really good in the matchup, and there's not many that aren't. Like I'm not a big fan of the Tarmogoyf beatdown plan in this matchup, so maybe we can trim a couple of Tarmogoyfs. The Terminates, kill things. Like our opponent can present a very reasonable clock on us. Maybe the Inquisitions aren't very good. Our opponent isn't really doing anything that we need to Inquisition. Like they have stuff that we have to kill, but we have Thoughtseize for the cards that seem to matter more. Yeah. I don't know exactly how we should be boarding here. We seem to have a lot of cards. We could also have some consideration for bringing in Leyline of the Void, but our opponent definitely has ways to remove it. Our opponent is probably not playing Rest in Peace, and if they are, then we definitely shouldn't have Leyline of the Void. Rest in Peace is good against us. So maybe, I think we definitely want, well, I guess if our opponent's playing Bordeaux, we probably don't want the Damnation. So maybe we'll just cut these two. Do it like that or something like that. I'm not sure if cutting 2 Goyfs for 2 Kitchen Finks is really smart, but I mean, we did it. And this hand's really good, so we'll keep it. This hand grinds really well. In general, with Jund, you want to keep lands that are hands that have a relatively strategic game plan. And this one does, which is, play Dark Confidant, play other stuff, eventually, get to town pushing things. I'm going to play Raging Ravine first because it's provides more colors of mana, so we can, next turn, if we need to, terminate or play Dark Confidant, where if we played Treetop Village, we would not be able to do that. The opponent whiff on a second land. No, okay, the opponent has a second land. Oh, a Walking Ballista. Okay, so that's going to change our game plan relatively considerably. We could throw out a Goyf and see if the opponent goes for the kill on it, and that'll be a little bit of a surprise for them. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm like 99% sure that if our opponent tries to kill the Ballista with this, yeah, it'll go to the graveyard first, and then that'll be that. Okay, so we got down onto the board. We didn't play the Dark Confidant because our opponent would have just killed it. And killing the Tarmogoyf with the Walking Ballista doesn't work. And, I mean, our opponent probably knows that, but this is Magic Online. You never really know about opponents. It took me a second to figure it out, too. Okay, so the opponent paths it, which is great for us. We will go ahead and get a... Well, I guess we don't have double black. We also need double green, though. I think we're just going to get green here because... I mean, if our opponent wants to go for the, the full Ghost Quarter plan here, they can. We have 2 more basics in the deck. All right, there's another Dark Confidant, so that means that this Walking Ballista is starting to get a little annoying. Play the Kitchen Finks, which blocks both of these really well, and we'll play the Treetop Village. All right, our opponent sacks a clue. Huh, triple Ghost Quarter. So our opponent can actually just take us off of a land here if they want to. I don't know how aggressive they're going to be, but it looks like their plan is just to pump up Walking Ballista end of turn. We only have the 1 black mana. Oof, this hand is getting a little awkward. So all of our spells take black, and we only get to use 1 this turn. So maybe we'll Thoughtseize our opponent, and then attack our opponent with the Treetop Village, or push the Walking Ballista. Yeah, let's go for this. So we'll go for the Treetop Village, and we'll see if our opponent wants to pump up the Walking Ballista to try to make this a profitable block, and then we will push the Walking Ballista if they do that. And if they don't, then... Oh, okay, so our opponent's just going to go ahead and main phase destroy the Treetop Village, which we're fine with. Or during our combat, destroy the Treetop Village, which we're fine with. I thought they would go for the profitable block. Okay, our opponent just kills their Thraben Inspector. I'm not really understanding this play from our opponent. All right, we'll Thought Seize them, and then probably just push the Ballista. Serra Ascendant, Proclamation, Proclamation. Well, I mean, we have to take a Proclamation because our opponent's just going to get back the other stuff. All right, so Proclamation, Serra Ascendant, Thraben Inspector. Yeah, I guess we'll just push this Walking Ballista so our opponent can't draw a land. That seems fine. Okay, the opponent kills the Kitchen Finks, and the Kitchen Finks comes back. Opponent just plays a Thraben Inspector. That's fine. All right, there's a Hazoret. So if we eventually get to the point that we can get empty-handed, that'll be really good. I'm just going to play double Dark Confidant and not attack. Our opponent is looking to use their Proclamation, and right now all they have is a Thraben Inspector, so if they want to trade that for a Thraben Inspector, we're very happy with it. I'd rather just draw some cards here, hopefully find another Thought Seize, get rid of the Proclamation, and then go to town. So we know our opponent has Proclamation, Serra Ascendant, and some other cards. All right, Liliana's good. Our opponent can discard some of their cards and then use the Proclamation to get them back, which is definitely a downside. But I think we should be able to actually fight through a lot of it. Oh, we're still in upkeep, aren't we? Not used to drawing this many cards. There we go. We drew a fourth card. All right, so we definitely want the land, so we'll play that. We definitely want to play this Liliana, and we want to tick it up. And we'll probably just get rid of the Abrupt Decay here. All right, the opponent discards a Serra Ascendant. So they already have two cards. I think it's probably just worth bolting this Thraben Inspector to get in for 6. I know our opponent can just, use Proclamation during their turn to get them all back, but they would have eventually been able to do that anyway because we have the Liliana. So I'm pretty fine with this overall. Make our opponent do something here and make them use the Proclamation as opposed to forecasting it. So our opponent will get 3 cards back. And they get a couple of clues, but in general, I mean, that's just a few bodies here. That's not really, in the grand scheme of things, doing all that much. All right, cool. Land is great. Thought Seize is good, too. Ooh, and Chandra, wow. All right, so we'll start off with the Thought Seize. Hallowed Burial, Double Ranger, Kami of the False Hope. Wow. All right, well, let's take Hallowed Burial, I guess. This card doesn't really do anything. Permanent combat damage. Okay, that's fine. So get rid of Hallowed Burial. Then we'll go red, this, and that, I guess. Play Chandra. Exile the top card of our library. No, we will not cast that. Discard a Terminate here. Opponent discards the Kami, so they just have double Ranger in their hand, and we'll pass the turn. Opponent is bottlenecked on lands. Okay, they found a land. They get to play a Ranger, so now they'll have 3 cards in their hand. Find a couple of Martyr of Sands, okay. Opponent passes the turn. Colligan's Command, Terminate, So that's 5 damage we took, which is a lot. All right, we drew Liliana, which is good. So we can Liliana, we can Kolaghan's Command, so we can kill 2 things with that. We can actually kill a 3rd thing with the other. All right, so we'll kill the Sarah Ascendant. We will... So I'm thinking that one of the ways that we could actually lose this game probably is with by these Dark Confidants killing us next turn. So the opponent has double Martyr of Sands. So if we do double red, then we can terminate plus K command. And then discard the Hazaret. That doesn't seem very good either. Or we could just go aggro. We could just kill both of the things, get in for 6, and then try to kill our opponent next turn. So we could very easily die because of these Bobs. Yeah, all right. Let's add double red. All right, so then black and add double black. So then we will terminate this Ranger. And then we'll K command that and kill this. All right, the opponent discards their other Ranger Dio, so they have double Martyr of Sands. And then we will get in with all of these, and then we'll probably just sacrifice a Dark Confidant. I don't know if we just want to tick up here or what, and then we're getting rid of Hazaret or tick down. Yeah, we'll just play this safe. We'll tick down on ourselves. We'll kill one of our own Dark Confidants. That's fine, because how we're planning on winning this game is probably through Chandra anyway. So that might have been a little bit too conservative on our part. So our opponent has double Martyr of Sands. That's it. And then we can hopefully slam this Hazaret and just kind of win the game here. Opponent sacks a clue, and then they play a Runed Halo. Okay. I wonder what they're going to name with that. All right, they name Chandra, okay? All right, so what does Bob do? Bob hits a Bloodbraid Elf. Wow, okay. And a Bloodstained Mire. All right, so we would have been fine, but our opponent's at 8. So that's 7. Oh, we can, here we go. We can add. So we'll add 2. There we go. 3, 4, play Bloodbraid Elf. Cascade into Bolt. Okay, we'll bolt our opponent, and then that's the match. All right, perfect. So just a little bit of managing, what we were trying to do with the Planeswalkers and not die. Like, I knew we were so far ahead, and I was just trying to figure out, it's like, how do we not lose? Like, how do we not kill ourselves here? And I mean, we eventually figured it out. All right, so 1-0 on to game number 2, or match number 2. All right, everyone, welcome to round number 2. We have Thoughtseize into Dark Confidant, which is always a really good draw, so we will keep that. We even have a Painless Mana Base. Oh boy, all right, except our opponent is on Eldrazian Taxes, which is, I mean, I guess it's actually not that bad of a matchup, so we'll see. I thought it was colorless Eldrazi, which is way worse. All right, Leon Arbiter, Eldrazi Displacer. All right, we can kill the Cat Jesus. Sorry, Cat Jesus, in case anyone was unaware. Displacer, Thalia. I mean, Thalia is the obvious curve. Opponent doesn't have any sort of way to interact. I don't really know what we should take here. I'm just going to take the Eldrazi Displacer because we don't have an answer to that. We can kill the other two stuff with the Kolaghan's Command. And that's where our opponent can really generate value. If I guess our goal is, in general, just to kind of one-for-one our opponent with this deck. And the best way to do that is to play Dark Confidant next turn, let our opponent play the Thalia, then play something that can block the Thalia. Or even we could play Goyf next turn just to block the Thalia, which isn't a horrible idea. We do have to take some damage to do that, though, or we could just draw Bolt, which is really good, too. Okay, the opponent has a stopped in our draw step. All right, I think actually I kind of like the Goyf plan because I want to fetch here because our opponent's going to play the Cat Jesus next turn. So I'm just going to fetch here. We're going to get Stomping Ground. No, we don't need that. We'll just get Overgrown Tomb. That's fine. So we'll get Overgrown Tomb, and then we will play a 3/4 Tarmogoyf, which our opponent can't attack through. So we know that our opponent has Leon Arbiter and Chefnet Dunes. Okay, now we just know they have Leon Arbiter and 2 unknown cards. One of which apparently is this Flicker Wisp. So they're going to flicker the Tarmogoyf and then just get in. Okay, that's fine. All right, and then they're getting Cat Jesus in. All right, that's fine. And then the Goyf comes back. All right, we drew another Bloodcleave Cliffs. I guess with the way that actually our mana is turning out here, this Treetop Village is always gonna come in tapped. So maybe we shouldn't have fetched, but I wanted to play around that Leon Arbiter. Let's just play the Cliffs here, I guess, and pass the turn. Maybe we shouldn't pass the turn. Maybe we should just bolt the Flicker Wisp now and stay on defense. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go ahead and bolt the Flicker Wisp and stay on defense. Okay, the opponent doesn't attack and just passes. All right. Drew a Dark Confidant. All right, so we'll play this Treetop Village because it's entering tapped anyway, and this Dark Confidant, and then pass the turn. And we would like to hopefully draw some cards here. Ooh, did our opponent get a Flicker Wisp? Oh no, Blade Splicer. Okay, that's a little bit more reasonable. Because that our K command actually matches up really well with that. All right, Aether Vial. Ooh, Eldrazi Displacer. Jeez. All right, so we do have to draw some answers here. We don't really have a good lineup against that. All right, Tarmogoyf and Inquisition. All right, so we can destroy this Golem, destroy this Blade Splicer. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll just destroy that and deal 2 damage to this Blade Splicer. And we're just going to do that main phase so that our opponent can't blink it with the Eldrazi Displacer. Oh, is this a Restoration Angel? Wow. All right, so I think we just lose here. I think we had to do that at main phase, but our opponent was able to very easily overwhelm our board here. And then they can blink this, attack with everything. Yeah, we're just dead. So we will just concede this game, move on to the next one. The fact that they drew very well like that was unexpected and kind of rough for us, actually. All right, so I like the Damnation. Chandra is probably good enough. It kills enough things. Maelstrom Pulse kills some of their bigger stuff. Yeah, but all the cards that we have here are pretty good, though. Like, especially like these Terminates, the Goyfs were great there. As you can see, the Scavenging Oozes might not be great. Maybe like cut an Ooze. I like to cut these like Inquisition cards in grindy matchups and just like kill what they have on board, because I don't know. I guess we'll just submit like that. I think we just got a little unlucky there. Okay, yeah, this hand's fine. Pretty much exactly what we're looking for out of these hands is interaction and ways to beat our opponent down. So we'll just go ahead and play this Goyf here. Our opponent doesn't have damage-based effects, so if our opponent wants to, you know, path the Goyf or something, that's fine with us. All right, they play a Thalia. We were going to just bolt the Thalia and get in. Ooh, we even drew a Treetop Village. That's perfect. All right, so we'll bolt the Thalia and get in with a 2/3 Tarmogoyf. And then we can play a Kolaghan's Command here to actually just kill both halves of this card, which is kind of cool. Play that tapped, and then we'll destroy that, deal 2 damage to that. Oh wait, that one needs to be black. Black and red. Continue getting in with the 2/3 Tarmogoyf. We just want to prevent our opponent from being able to establish any sort of board if they have Flicker Wisp or something like that in their hand. We don't want them to be able to use it. Okay, so there's Cat Jesus. That's fine. Okay, and our opponent does have a path. All right, so we will go ahead and... Okay, so we can get in with the Treetop Village, cast Dark Confidant, or we can bolt the cat. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just get in with the Treetop Village, put our opponent down to 12, play the Dark Confidant, pass the turn. And then next turn we can bolt the Leon Arbiter or bolt something else maybe. Okay, the opponent deck and stones the... That's interesting. All right. Haven't really seen that one too much. We'll bolt this Leon Arbiter. Go ahead and fetch a basic here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and fetch a basic here, and we will be a little less mana efficient, but get in with the Raging Ravine right now because the Raging Ravine represents more damage in the future, as opposed to drawing a card now. Opponent plays another Chefnet Dunes. All right, and they Field of Ruin our Raging Ravine, which we're fine with. We'll get a Forest here. And then they play a Wall of Omens. Okay, so the Treetop Village cannot really attack through the Wall of Omens. We'll go ahead and draw a card to begin. Okay, we drew Damnation, which is not particularly good. But we will play this Dark Confidant and pass. All right, opponent Flicker Wisps, the Wall, which is a very common play you'll see with Flicker Wisp decks, and it's super value, and it makes me really jealous every time. Terminate's a good one. Ooh, and so is Abrupt Decay. All right, so we can Abrupt Decay the Flicker Wisp, and then just activate the Dark Confidant, or activate, sorry, the Treetop Village. And get in for, you know, what is 2 damage here. It's not... I mean, I guess we could just, yeah, let's just do it. We'll just terminate it. This feels really bad, but this way we're making our opponent do something next turn, or they're just going to die to the Treetop Village. Okay, so they play a Thought Not Seer, and they get to take the Damnation. Oh, plus they have the Path. Wow. All right. All right, so now we actually do have to draw good. All right, we drew Tarmogoyf, which is definitely counting as good. So now our opponent needs something else to... All right, and they just keep drawing lands. Hopefully they don't have the Eldrazi Displacer here. That would be really rough. Ooh, they do have it. All right. Oh, okay. So our opponent is going to actually let us go to combat here, which is nice. Not like they could do the draw step thingy where they get rid of the Thought Not Seer during. Oh, wait, actually, all right. So hold on. If we think about this, so our opponent has one activation of this Eldrazi Displacer. So we can, if we Maelstrom Pulse the Thought Not Seer, and our opponent tries to blink the Thought Not Seer in response, they just lose. They still have to blink our Tarmogoyf. And that would let us draw another card. So let's do that. Okay, cool. So we do draw a card. Bloodbraid Elf's good. Okay, so Scavenging Ooze. That's also a good one. All right, so we will move to combat. Ooh, I should have played this before. That was a mistake on my part. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. So I should have played the Scavenging Ooze before combat. So our opponent has to block there and then blink this Goyf to not die. Okay. So we got them both off the table. But I should have had this Ooze down. All right, at least it doesn't really matter because our opponent has another Eldra. Oh, I guess it does matter. Jeez. Oh, we just drew a bolt. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we misplayed, but we fortunately got unpunished because of this lightning bolt. All right, so sideboarding. Were we happy with everything that we had there? I think we were. This Liliana the Last Hope's probably not great. I guess it kills Flicker Wisps, which is a relatively big deal, so we'll do that. It also kills Blade Splicers and can let us rebuy like Bloodbraid Elves or something. All right, this hand has a lot of interaction and a Dark Confidant, so very happy about that. And our opponent does not have a Vial, and our opponent's deck's a lot less scary when they don't have a Vial. We drew like the perfect draw for the turn, which is just a tap land. I'm just going to get this Dark Confidant down. If our opponent has like, you know, something like Cat Jesus plus Ghost Quarter, that's good for them. But I think I'm very happy with this this overall plan here. Okay, our opponent just paths it. That's great for us. That means that we'll get a Bloodbraid Elf down here. All right, and I think we'll just go ahead and do that. That's the most mana efficient play. We want to try to preserve our life total a little bit. Oh, perfect. All right, so we will make our opponent discard and deal them 2 damage. All right, our opponent discards an Eldrazi Displacer, which is amazing. And then we'll attack with this Bloodbraid Elf, put our opponent down to 15. See if our opponent has an Eldrazi here. They might have multiple Eldrazi's. Opponent takes a Lightning Bolt immediately. Okay. Let's Thoughtseize our opponent, see what's going on. Blade Splicer, Eldrazi Displacer. All right, so we'll take the Blade Splicer because the other one's not that scary in comparison. And then I think we'll just play a Goyf and pass. Well, let's see. Our opponent's last card's a Chefnet Dunes. So I want to get another green source. This could be wrong. I'm fetching a little aggressively, but I want another green source for this. So we'll play the Scavenging Ooze. So we'll just play everything out, and then our opponent can take their turn, and then hopefully we can bolt our opponent. Our opponent would need to draw exactly Eldrazi Displacer, or sorry, Eldrazi Temple for this plan to not work out well, but that would be a pretty big ask from our opponent. And in general, that card's not even particularly good against us, so relatively happy about that. All right, so our opponent plays that Chefnet Dunes that we knew about. Okay, and they Field of Ruin our Raging Ravine. We'll get the Forest, that's fine. Okay, and then there's a Cat Jesus, and then they can Ghost Quarter us off the red. Okay, so we will not use the ability. Oh man, I was trying to eat something at the end of the turn there. All right, actually that's fine because that would have shrunk Goyf down quite a bit actually. All right, so let's go to combat here. And I think I actually like just attacking with both here. Our opponent actually can trade with the Scavenging Ooze if they want to. With the Thought-Knot Seer. If they double block the Goyf, we're very happy with that too. We get to kill the Thought-Knot Seer. Opponent just doesn't do anything. Alright, so we'll eat the Eldrazi Displacer here. And then we will play a Scavenging Ooze and pass the turn. Apologize for that. I dropped my mic. Hope that wasn't a big pop there. Okay, the opponent... I don't understand. The opponent just passes the turn. They have an Eldrazi Displacer. So they must have Restoration Angel. Okay. All right, that's a read that we can make. We'll just play this Goyf and pass. Yep. Okay, so there's Resto. They can Resto Blink the Thought-Knot Seer, which is fine because they have to take this Lightning Bolt, probably. Okay, so we're drawing a card. We draw... Ooh, Liliana. All right, it's a pretty good one. Okay, opponent plays a Wall of Omens. And another Wall of Omens. Okay. Well, fortunately, these Wall of Omens don't get through the Tarmogoyf. Opponent can attack with the Restoration Angel. Okay. No. All right, we drew a Raging Ravine, which is a very good draw because it is a red source, and a second red source would actually let us begin to attack through our opponent's board. Now we could just go ahead and get in with both Tarmogoyfs here, and we're more than willing to trade either the Restoration Angel or the Thought-Knot Seer for him because that just feeds the Scavenging Ooze. And our opponent can't even really throw the Wall of Omens in front of him because the same thing's going to happen. Okay, we will definitely kill the Leon Arbiter. Or the Restoration Angel, rather. Okay, so that's fine. So we fought through a Wall of Omens and the Restoration Angel. And we have Bolt for next turn. The opponent still can't really... Oh, our opponent still has Eldrazi Displacer in hand. Jeez, that was a really good draw. So our opponent can start to blink the Scoozes. But if they play it, then we get to kill it next turn with our... Alright, so what our opponent should do probably is they should play the Eldrazi Displacer and then blink. No, okay. So our opponent's just not doing anything, which means they might have drawn another Resto. But I'm just going to go ahead and eat a couple of creatures here. I want to get the... I guess we should probably split it. We'll get... Yeah, we'll do it like that. All right, we're leaving the last one in so that the Goyf is big. All right, this is a really strong draw. We will Thoughtseize our opponent. We know they have an Eldrazi Displacer, so we definitely get to take something at least, which is good. All right, they did have Restoration Angel. All right, and they're going to blink the Wall of Omens, which is fine. All right, we'll take the Eldrazi Displacer here. We can Bolt the Leon Arbiter. And then set our opponent into some really bad blocks here. Because our opponent has to block 2 of these things. So what if we attack with all? If we attack with all, our opponent can just block these 2 things and go to 1. So I guess it's probably best to just leave that back. But yeah, this puts our opponent in some really bad blocks. Okay, so our opponent's going to block like this. I think that's fine, right? We just want to kill the Thought-Knot Seer. All right, so we will eat that, eat that, eat that, I guess. All right, so we drew our Confidant off that. So now our opponent has to draw really well. All right, our opponent's attacking. They must have, if they drew like a Wrath of God or something like that, we could be in trouble. I don't know why they'd be playing Wrath of God in their Thalia deck, but they might have. Oh, okay, they get to Flicker Wisp Resto. This is always a really fun play. So then they get to blink the Resto, the Flicker Wisp here. And then Flicker Wisp gets to blink one of our creatures out. All right. But then we just draw Liliana and win the game. Good. All right. So maybe we misplayed a little bit. We probably, if we would have attacked with the Bloodbraid Elf, I think we would have forced a double chump on our opponent's part. I didn't really think that out through, but it's the Jund deck, so Jund just kind of bails you out randomly like that. And yeah, did it twice now. So we'll be back for round number 3, and I'll see you guys there. All right, everyone, welcome to round number 3. Our opponent has won the die roll, and they've been thinking a little bit. We're going to keep a hand that has Inquisition into threats, like we usually do. We've had some really good hands this match. All right, so our opponent is playing Dredgevine, and this is, or Bridgevine, and this is a awful matchup for us, I think, in general. Mismatched Verdant Catacombs is throwing me off a little bit here. I think we just want to preserve our life total to begin with. We're just going to get a Swamp here, and we'll Inquisition our opponent. The Scavenging Ooze is actually a relatively good card. All right, so we'll take the Viscera Seer and hope our opponent doesn't draw another creature. Oh, wait, no, the Vengevines are in their hand. All right. Yeah, well, we're definitely taking the Viscera Seer. So our opponent is like a Faithless Looting away from just going off. Unfortunately, they don't appear to have it. So we'll take one. That's fine. All right, our opponent plays Gravecrawler. And they drew Bloodstained Mire for the turn. So they have Blackleaf Cliffs and 2 Vengevines in their hand. So there's no reason to use this Thoughtseize or this Liliana. Both of these cards are actually just awful. So let's play this Forest, play a Scavenging Ooze, and try to go to town on their graveyard next turn. Actually, just kind of for the rest of the game. Just try to go, go to town on their graveyard. All right, so our opponent still has those 3 cards that we know of in their hand. Our opponent attacks. They can attack with the Gravecrawler and Stitcher Supplier. We'll just take 3. That's fine. Our opponent drew another Gravecrawler. They still have a Blackleaf Cliffs, it looks like, in their hand. All right, so there's a Wooded Foothills. That can get us another forest, which I guess I'll just get now. I will play a Tarmogoyf because Tarmogoyf is great. And I guess I'll start getting a clock on my opponent, but I'm not going to eat anything. Our goal, I guess, is to block a Gravecrawler and eat it with this Scavenging Ooze, and the next turn we can eat 3 things. Our opponent plays that Blackleaf Cliffs. Let's see if our opponent attacks with everything. No, just the Stitcher Supplier. No, okay, not even attacking with that. All right, at the end of the turn, we will eat a Viscera Seer. We'll get red, green here. I'll use the same concept as last time, where we'll attack with the Scavenging Ooze. I don't know why our opponent's not blocking with the Stitcher Supplier now, but okay. So they're not blocking with the Stitcher Supplier, and then we'll play a Dark Confidant to get something else on the board, hopefully get another land for next turn. Or trade them off with the Gravecrawlers, which I'm also cool with. Okay, so the opponent is going for the full... So we'll do that, block those 2. Is this thing a zombie? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we'll put a stop in the damage step, and we'll eat a couple of Gravecrawlers. See what our opponent drew. They drew an Insolent Neonate. Okay. All right, so they'll be able to get their Vengevine back here. No, okay, so our opponent just concedes. Yeah, they know that, so even if they get it back, then we'll, like, Liliana, then, I don't know. They just didn't really have anything going. All right, in this matchup, we definitely need the ley lines. Probably need the Damnation. The Pulses seem really good at getting rid of all the zombies. So maybe these cards here. I mean, like, the Abrupt Decays are probably really bad. Actually, these Lilianas seem awful. So maybe these 5 for those 5. Something like that. Even these K commands probably aren't great. But I guess we can rebuy like a Scavenging Ooze and kill something of our opponents. I don't know. It doesn't seem great. We should probably mulligan relatively aggressively for Leyline. On the play, we probably don't need to, but on the draw, we should. Oh boy, this hand is really good. If our opponent keeps, we'll probably... Yeah, so our opponent did keep. Dang. I really want to keep this hand. Yeah, we'll keep it. I think this hand probably is good enough that it can beat most hands that the opponent has that are not explosive or like super explosive. It might have a little bit of trouble. Oh, there it is. All right, so there's Faithless Looting. Opponent discards Bloodghast Swamp Art. So that's not a super explosive start for our opponent. And we will just go ahead and Thought Seize them right away. Make sure they can't do anything super nasty next turn. Greater Gargadon, Insolent Neonate Bushwhacker. All right, let's just take the Neonate, and our opponent's hand doesn't really do anything outside of that. So that's good. Then next turn we can get a basic, play a Scavenging Ooze, and then start going to town on our opponent's graveyard. Ooh, our opponent drew a Stitcher Supplier. That's a good one. Ooh, and a Bridge. Wow. All right. Jeez, that was probably one of the better draws our opponent could have had there. Opponent suspends the... Oh, they're just going to cast the Bushwhacker to get the Vengevine down. Wow. All right. So now we're probably just dead. I think I'm just going to play the Raging Ravine here, bolt the Vengevine, try to... Well, I guess if we play the Scavenging Ooze, our opponent can't really attack through... So if we play this Scooze, then our opponent can't really attack through because they'll exile their Bridge. So I guess maybe we'll just do that. They can make a bunch of zombies, though. All right, we'll just play the Scooze and pass. I was going to say we need to bolt the Vengevine, but if we block with the Scooze, we theoretically have a path to victory if we just draw a bunch of removal spells. Okay, so our opponent goes with the Greater Gargadon, attacks with everything. We will... Chump, which will kill the Bridge, so our opponent has to sacrifice all these cards now if they want the zombies so they don't get damage dealt. Because as of right now, we just have to beat our opponent's board. Okay, so that's our opponent's just, I guess, fine with that. Just, no, okay, they're going to town now. All right, and that was not a good flip with the Viscera Seer. All right, the opponent sacks the Vengevine. Oh, this is all post-combat with the trigger on the stack. Okay, I get it. That was not the smartest thing I've ever said. All right, so we have to beat 3 zombies and eventually Gargadon. And Bloodghast, okay. There's a Scooze. That's not really doing anything, I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're just dead here. Yeah, because we can bolt this, take 8, and then next turn, yeah, we're just dead. Like, we can't even draw a Wrath. Yeah, we'll just concede. All right. So it looks like we do need to get the Leyline in order to really win this matchup. I think I'm relatively happy with the way we boarded. Maybe this Collective Brutality can come in over like a Terminate. Terminate seems really bad. Actually, all these seem bad. Maybe Terminate's better than that. We'll do that. Actually, maybe Kitchen Finks just blocks really well, so we should have Kitchen Finks in the deck instead of like K Command, because we're not making our opponent discard. And maybe even a Bloodbraid Elf might be too slow. I don't think I got that submission in. All right, well, this hand has the Leyline, so we'll keep it. It's actually a really good hand. It's got Leyline plus other things. All right, so our opponent kept 7. We put a ley line into play. And then we get to Thought Seize our opponent. And then play a Dark Confidant and then a Scavenging Ooze. All right, Ingot Chewer, Ingot Chewer. So they were ready for the wrong sideboard hate. We'll just take the Faithless Looting. Our opponent's hand doesn't do anything, and that's great. All right. So our opponent was ready for like relics and stuff, and they have multiple Ingot Chewers. Yeah, it's not going super well for our... All right, we drew another Scavenging Ooze, which isn't great. We're just going to get a basic here because we do want to preserve our life total a little bit. One of the ways I could see us losing this game is if we flip over too many things with the Dark Confidant that don't do anything. Opponent has a Greater Gargadon suspended on 9. So there's the Greater Gargadon. Okay, our opponent had a Lightning Axe. They discarded... What did they discard? Oh, they discarded the Marsh Flats. Okay. So we know their hand's double Ingot Chewer plus some other stuff. All right, we'll continue to try to get down this Dark Confidant. Ooh, Stitcher Supplier. Okay, so that is a card. All right, that's sweet. Got rid of another Faithless Looting. We want to exile all of our opponent's Faithless Lootings. Opponent... Oh, wait, no, we did know our opponent had that. All right, so we know our opponent's hand's double Ingot Chewer. All right, but that's it. They just pass here. Oh, they go to second main. Oh, they have another Lightning Axe. Wow, all right. All right. So we do need to draw something now because we don't just get free cards anymore. Let's get our Stomping Ground. So we know their hand is just Ingot Chewer. We will play the Scavenging Ooze, and then we can eat our own creatures to pump it up. And all we have to do really is beat this Greater Gargadon, which shouldn't be terribly too hard to beat. They might just sack the Stitcher Supplier. All right, the Gravecrawler's fine. That doesn't really do anything. We will eat our own Dark Confidant here. All right, there's a Blood Crypt. We will play that tapped. And we'll play another Scavenging Ooze. And attack our opponent for 3 here. And then we can block with our other Ooze. All right, our opponent's Gargadon's on 6. That is something we have to keep an eye on. But our opponent can't really attack through this. All right, we'll play this Overgrown Tomb tapped. And we'll just go to town for 9 here. Our opponent will need to start chump blocking next turn. Our opponent sacrifices it. Goes to 6. Our opponent has 4. Ooh, Viscera, that's a pretty good one. All right, Ingot Chewer. All right, our opponent goes down to 3 on the Greater Gargadon, which is a little scary. All right, well, because we drew the Tarmogoyf, then we're in pretty good shape here. So we will activate the Treetop Village. So now our opponent will need to sacrifice everything but the Viscera Seer and the Viscera Seer in order to not die here. So we'll go in, get in with all of them. Our opponent will go sack, cast Greater Gargadon. Then we'll play Tarmogoyf to block. Even though I don't think there's really any way we would die either way, but all right. So now our opponent gets the Gargadon. Then our opponent blocks. They go to 3. Don't block that one. Okay, yeah, I was going to say, our opponent shouldn't block that one. All right, our opponent blocks there and there. All right, so our opponent goes to 3. And then we go ahead and play a Tarmogoyf. And I'm not really sure what our opponent can do now. All right, 3-0, and we've cashed the league. See you guys at round 4. All right, guys, we've won the die roll. We're on a roll here. 3-0, winning die rolls now. All right, this hand doesn't have any disruption, but it's got Terminate into Liliana, or Ooze into Liliana, so I think we'll keep that. Also, the fact that we have basically perfect mana and our opponent's mulliganing leads me to believe that this is going to be fine. Could be wrong, though. We will start off with Verdant Catacombs and pass the turn. Most likely getting green-red here, I guess, because we have the Twilight Mire if we need it. Ooh, and our opponent's on Tron. Oh, and they have Relic. Wow, okay, so what I thought was going to be a relatively easy sequence for us is now a lot harder, and it's going to involve a lot of us just getting lucky now. All right, so our opponent can eat this Verdant Catacombs. Okay, command. All right, so that's actually one of the better cards in the matchup, so that's good. And we are just going to go ahead and get down a clock in a Scavenging Ooze. It's a really bad Scavenging Ooze, though, but it presents a clock on our opponent. Also, currently our opponent doesn't know that we have red in our deck, which might be an advantage. If our opponent presents a way to just have Tron next turn, I might just concede because we're very close to 0% once our opponent assembles Tron. All right, and our opponent just passes. There's Bloodbraid Elf. All right, we will definitely play Liliana. Guess we're going to get the Stomping Ground. This is what would theoretically make our Scavenging Ooze the largest, which is why I chose it. We'll probably discard the other Scavenging Ooze, because hopefully we don't have to cast it. All right, our opponent discards a Ghost Quarter. And then we get in. With K-Command Terminate and Liliana the Veil, we can actually fight through a Worm Coil engine. So if our opponent has Tron and like Stone nothing else, we might be able to fight through it if it's just Worm Coil engine, which is why I kept the Terminate in addition to the K-Command. If we can continue to tick up this Liliana and reduce our opponent's hand size while putting a clock on them, that might be good. But it looks like our opponent's just going to find Tron here. Yeah. All right, so our opponent finds Tron. Oh, no, they found another power plant. What? I think they clicked the wrong thing. We might have a chance, guys. They clicked the wrong thing. Ugh. They already have a power plant. All right. We will discard a Bloodbraid Elf, I guess. Because we probably don't need to. All right, and then we can turn this into an attack for 4, which is probably worthwhile. So let's make double green here. And we'll eat your thing and my thing. Hopefully the opponent just misclicked. Yeah, all right. Looks like our opponent misclicked. All right, they play map. So they'll have Tron for next turn then. All right. We will tick up with the Liliana, discard this Terminate, I guess. Our opponent had a bad card. A Forest. We will attack with the Scavenging Ooze. All right, so our opponent needs to do something that would kill this Liliana next turn. And there's no reason to make our opponent discard because they most likely have a bad card in hand. And we're still trying. Our out is, once again, that our opponent has like no payoff, and we can somehow beat their bad payoff. They most likely don't have Ulamog because they already discarded one. But also the fact that they discarded Ulamog leads me to believe that they have a really good threat in their hand. But the Scavenging Ooze is doing some real work. If we can like blow up an artifact, oh, they have an O-Stone. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, they got to pull the trigger on that now. All right, that's fine. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. Hopefully they play a Mana Rock here. That would actually be perfect. Because if they play a Mana Rock in response, we'll make them discard and shock them. No, okay, so they don't. Would making our opponent discard do anything here? Discard, rebuy the Scavenging Ooze. Discard shock. Maybe we're at the point where we need to discard shock. Yeah, all right, let's do it. We're at discard shock, and then we have to hope to hit something good off the Bloodbraid Elf, like a Thoughtseize. Okay, Walking Ballista. That's good, because we probably couldn't beat that anyway. Red, red, green. Let's see what we hit. Thoughtseize. Ooh, Liliana. Yes! Oh, man, that was great. All right, play this. Tick it up. Opponent discards a Karn. And our opponent's dead next turn. They have to hit here. Brick, 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 brick. Uh-oh. Oh, no, this doesn't look like a brick. Oh, no. Okay, a Walking Ballista for 5. That does something, but not a huge amount. They still need to hit something next turn. Because they can kill the Liliana, or put the Liliana down to 1, kill the Bloodbraid Elf. Or block the Bloodbraid Elf in combat. Alright, well, we still have a lot of outs here. We still could lose this game. So our opponent should probably put the Liliana No, actually, that doesn't really do anything. They should probably... Well, if they do nothing, then we just beat them. Actually... Okay, no, so our opponent is going to go down, tick down on the Liliana. Yeah, they'll just kill... No, put the Liliana down to 1. Okay. Oh, we just drew a bolt. All right. So we activate the Treetop Village. Then our opponent will just block the Bloodbraid Elf, take 3, and then we bolt them for the win. Cool. Cool, damage, and then we bolt them. Yay! All right, well, we stole the game because our opponent fetched the wrong land. So bring in some Fulminator Mages. Ancient Grudge is probably better than some of the cards we have, and so is Hazoret. So is Chandra, probably, and so is Maelstrom Pulse. Yeah, all right. Terminates are not great. Tarmogoyf's beat down. This Liliana's probably bad. Maybe these grudges aren't great. I mean, they just like flash back to destroy something that we're destroying with abrupt decays anyway. I guess they handle... I don't know. See what else we have to cut. Fatal Push is bad. Sorry, okay. So these are the ones we want to bring in. So these are the 4 that we're definitely cutting. I mean, I guess if we have Ancient Grudge, we probably don't need Abrupt Decay. They kind of are doing the same thing. It's just like Ancient Grudge is better, because all this is destroying is artifacts anyway. Maybe cut 2 bolts. Bolts are just a reach. That's really all they are in the matchup. So maybe we should keep in the Abrupt Decays over the bolts. But I don't know. Bolt was really good that game. That took a whole draw step off, which I think is kind of what we're looking to do. So we'll submit like that, see if we can get lucky with the Fulminator Mages. Maybe our opponent will search for the wrong land again. Who knows? All right. What does this hand do? Not much, especially on our opponent keeping 7. So let's mulligan. All right, we need a Thoughtseize or something. No on Dark Confidant. We either need lands or Thoughtseizes. Fulminator Mage on 3 is usually too slow. Lightning Bolt, man. Although I guess in my defense, there's not really a very good draw here. We'll get black-green, I guess, here. Oh, okay. Well, this is good. All right. Chromatic Star. Pops the star. Ooh, all right. Well, we're not dead yet, and our opponent has put a artifact in the graveyard. So we're gonna get red green here, I guess. Yeah, we'll get Stomping Ground here. Yes, bolt our opponent, which will put an instant in the graveyard, and then that'll grow our Tarmogoyf. Ooh, okay. I think we just need to get lucky next turn and draw an untapped land. I don't think we can, hope that we're... I don't know. I don't think we can just hope that we'll brick, or that our opponent will brick forever. And this will take a whole turn off our opponent's clock, or our clock. Because even if we just play the Fulminator Mage turn 3 and don't have anything to back it up, that's not particularly strong. So our opponent will have Tron the next turn, so we need an untapped land here. Any land. So we have like 20 hits. Of course we missed it. All right. Well, we'll get in with the Goyf. But we weren't going to win this anyway. Our opponent had double Expedition Map. So our opponent will get the last piece. Like, even if we blew up one of their lands there, they still would assemble Tron the next turn, and we don't have anything to follow up our play. So maybe our opponent has nothing again? The fact that they haven't just slammed something, I guess, is good for us. Oh, now they're slamming something. Okay, it's a Karn. All right. Well, we can beat the Karn. I think we're going to go with the Bloodbraid Elf here, because that'll kill the Karn, actually. If we hit Fulminator here, it would be perfect. No, okay, we hit Tarmogoyf. But there's a lot in this matchup that involves getting a little bit lucky, and we have not gotten very lucky so far. Because, like I said, even if we drew the Fulminator Mage, our opponent would just have to spend, like, 4 of their mana next turn getting that piece. Our real out here is that our opponent uses this Expedition map to get a piece, and then we somehow Fulminator Mage it, and they can't find another spell or another land in that time. And our opponent is on a 2-turn clock. Like, we will do 7 damage to them here, and then... Yeah, we can do 7 damage to them here, and then play a Fulminator Mage, and then play another... Okay, so our opponent has a Worm Coil Engine. Can we even beat that? Probably not. We can, like, attack into it, and then we can play Chandra and minus it. But yeah, Worm Coil is really tough for this deck to fight through in any reasonable fashion. All right, that's a bolt. That's half of a Worm Coil engine, or it's a Worm Coil token. So I think our best bet here is to hit the Bloodbraid Elf, hit like Ancient Grudge here or something. Oh yeah, we hit the Ancient Grudge. All right. Yeah, let's blow up this Worm Coil engine. Perfect. All right, and then we're just going to get in with all of them at our opponent. We're just trying to fight through things as fast as possible here. The best way to do that is to just push through, take our opponent down to 14. So now we've successfully gotten through the first Worm Coil. Now we need to flash back the Ancient Grudge on the Expedition map and then blow up another land and have our opponent brick. That's our tentative plan, is to blow up the Expedition map. Our opponent will have to sack it to find a land, and then we blow up a different land. But it looks like, of course, our opponent has something, because it's just a Thought-Knot Seer, though. Okay, that's fine. They don't have to take the Chandra, but the Chandra will just kill it. So they might have to. Like, if they take Fulminator Mage here, I'm just killing the Thought-Knot Seer with the Chandra and then attacking them. Yeah, they do that, okay. And do they have another one? No, they have a Ballista on 2. All right. Okay, so we can grudge the Ballista. They kill the Bloodbraid Elf. We can grudge the Expedition map, cast Fulminator Mage, and then try to fight our way out of it that way. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, let's go. Grudge the Expedition map, cast Fulminator Mage. And then we'll go after the Mine, because that was the last card that our opponent found. And pass the turn. All right, that's good. So our opponent can't pump up the Walking Ballista to the point that they can beat the Karn in combat. Or beat the Bloodbraid Elf in combat, rather. All right, and we will definitely just throw the Bloodbraid Elf in front of the Walking Ballista here, because they can just kill it on the way back. Yeah, so we're definitely just going to block that. Because otherwise, if we attack with it, they could just kill it anyway. So we'd rather, do it on our terms. All right, so we can Thoughtseize our opponent, and then attack with the Ravine. Our opponent could take us to 6, so we put our opponent to 10. Then we put our opponent to 5, and then Lightning Bolt. So we're still not winning this race, but we're definitely losing the race if we don't do it. So I guess we're going to do it. I don't know. We need to draw like a Goyf. Oh, okay, and our opponent drew Tron anyway. All right. Well, I don't know, maybe they don't have a payoff. We're down to 6. Oh, there's a Wormcoil Engine. We can make our opponent sack a creature, do that, and then we're still dead? Yeah, all right, we're still dead. All right, sideboard. So the Ancient Grudges seemed good. Do I like Collective Brutality on the play? It's probably fine. I like the 2 bolts. The bolts actually seemed okay there. Maybe over like a Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, let's do that. All right, we would like to play first. This hand's got double Fulminator Mage. It needs a land, but I think we can keep it. We can go for the same thing that we did the last time, which is turn 1 Bolt, turn 2 Goyf, and then just try to take them off of lands, and then slam Hazaret eventually. I don't hate that plan. All right, and we're just going to go ahead and do it. So put our opponent on a little bit of a clock here. We unfortunately missed our land for the turn. We really need to hit next turn, but I don't think we can mulligan this hand. So if our opponent sacrifices this Chromatic Star, then it pumps our Goyf. So it's really going to come down to whether or not we can draw this land here. They're going to play an instant here, or sorcery here too. And if we can draw the Fulminator, then we have creature land, so it'll be a 5/6. And our opponent is dead really quick if we draw the land. Oh, we drew a Thoughtseize. That's really rough. Oh, boy. All right. Well, let's Thoughtseize our opponent. We'll take whatever they have on 7. All right, Thrag Tusk. Okay, so they're going to get a Thrag Tusk anyway. Well, we definitely can't beat the Karn. Well, maybe we can. I don't know. They take a land. Yeah, we're in real rough shape here. All right, so there's 4/5 Tarmogoyf. We'll get in with it. But that's what our opponent would be doing on 7. This way they're going to play a Thrag Tusk, which we can bolt. All right, so they don't have any mines anymore. Oh, they're just playing the Wormcoil. Okay. And a star. There's Dark Confidant. That doesn't do anything either. All right. Just playing the Dark Confidant. Passing the turn. So now we're going to try to grind our opponent out. Which is not going to go well. Man, just couldn't draw that 3rd land, huh? This is a matchup that the Assassin's Trophy is going to be really interesting with. The Assassin's Trophy would make this matchup a little bit easier main deck because you get to Assassin's Trophy their lands. They get a basic for it. It's like a Ghost Quarter, basically. that you get to play that also removes everything else in their deck. Like we could use it to remove the Wormcoil Engine. They would still get yeah, I think it's Destroy. I don't think it's Exile. It might be Exile. I actually have to look at the wording on the card. It's a really good card, though. All right, the opponent plays the Star. They might go after a land here, which I probably would. Should go after the Blackleaf Cliffs. We're actually just dead, I think, if they take the Blackleaf Cliffs. No, they got the Tarmogoyf. Okay. Interesting. All right, there's a Goyf, there's a land. All right, so if we blow up one of their lands, attack the Karn down. That's probably, like, realistically our only chance of winning is to do that. Yeah, we'll just get a forest, I guess. All right, and then we'll blow up. We'll blow up the mine again. And attack the Karn. Then we go down to 3, and our opponent. Okay, we will exile. Do we just have to get... Yeah, I think we just have to get lucky here. So we can play Goyf and then bolt the Karn and attack it with the Dark Confidant next turn. I guess it's going to be like our play tentatively. Oh, okay. Our opponent just found Tron again. Oh, boy. All right. Oh, into Thragtusk. Yeah, we're just so dead here. I mean, I guess we'll take a draw step here, but I mean, we're probably just dying to our own. Now, Thought sees this, so we can play this. Our opponent just attacks through it. We chump block. Yeah, we're just so dead. All right, good game. Move on to round number 5, 4-1. We've cashed the league. 4-1's a really good record. All right, guys, welcome to round number 5. This is our final round. This is a really good hand against any fair strategy, so we will keep it. We haven't played against any sort of control deck or humans deck or anything like that yet. Any of the big hitters in the meta. I guess Tron's pretty big in the meta, but yeah, maybe it will hit something like that. Sunken Hollow. All right, I don't know what's up. Maybe it's a blue-black deck of some sort, and that's just like their last land or something. I don't know. We'll just play the Scavenging Ooze and pass. I don't know what's happening. Sunken Hollow into Stomping Ground. Yep, sure. There's a Dark Confidant. I guess we'll attack with the Ooze and play that. Our opponent might have Remand up, or like a Lightning Bolt. Or, I mean, I don't even know. All right, we'll play around Censor, because at this point, you know, the opponent could have anything. Play around Censor. When I saw Sunken Hollow and then the Stomping Ground, I looked up to see if our opponent was playing like a Battle of Wits deck. I just was like, maybe this is like a 400 card deck and they're just playing Sunken Hollows because, you know, they need. Yeah, all right. You killed the Ooze. I have no idea what's going on. We're probably dead though. It's probably like a Goryo's deck of some sort. Escape Shift deck, or maybe they just don't have to control 2 or more basic lands, and then they proceed to not play any. I don't even know. All right. Well, we're gonna play that. Just get this swamp, play that. Get a Liliana the Veil going. We'll probably just discard like Lightning Bolt. Okay, our opponent's countering it with another Is It Charm. No. Opponent's not really showing any. Like, they've had 2 chances now to kill this Dark Confidant. They've not done it. Search for, oh, this is like a Scape Shift deck, but they're missing lands, so I'm very confused. We're already below the threshold for this, so we'll just go ahead and bolt our opponent here. All right, Fatal Push is really bad. Go ahead and attack our opponent here. But this is a pretty solid clock, actually. Like, really solid if we can resolve this Tarmogoyf. Okay, our opponent remans the Tarmogoyf, and then we'll just recast it, because I tap my mana like that. All right, so the opponent does have to interact with us next turn, or we just win, because we'll activate the Raging Ravine and attack our opponent for 7-9 damage exactly. That doesn't cast Cryptic Command. All right, they must have. If they don't have Bolt, then they just lose. I mean, I think we just make them have it. Like, I feel like they would have bolted something a while ago. No, okay, so our opponent just concedes. All right. Well, Fatal Push seems bad. These Lightning Bolts seem pretty bad. Maelstrom Pulse seems pretty bad. Keep in the Kolaghan's Command in case they're on the thing that they get to bring it. What's that artifact? They're in like the Madcap Experiment sideboard plan. But like, all of these cards are probably bad. I'll keep in the Abrupt Decays to get rid of some sideboard hate and the Search for Escantas, I guess. Hazaret seems good. Fulminator seems great. Collective Brutality seems good. Chandra is at least a clock. The Finks survive board wipes, so maybe just like that. We also could have cut the other Liliana. The other Liliana is just basically for recursion. Yeah, let's just keep this hand. This hand's got 4 lands into a Bloodbraid Elf and can draw a lot of stuff. I think in general it's a below average hand, but certainly better than a bad 6. So the opponent can hold up Remand here, but it looks like they don't have it. So we'll play, just play the Blackleaf Cliffs and play Scavenging Ooze. Opponent might have a Bolt here. Yep, okay. But that makes the Tarmogoyf bigger. Oh, the opponent missed a land drop. All right, so they must have some sort of counterspell here. Yeah, let's just go ahead and play the Goyf and Treetop Village. We'll just get our lands. If our opponent has another Bolt, then they got the Tarmogoyf. It's rare that you get to Bolt a Tarmogoyf, but they might, they might have it. Ooh, all right, Search for Tomorrow exiled. Sweet. All right, let's... oh, I should have played this Verdant Catacombs. All right, we'll see if 1 damage is a big deal in this matchup, because I could have had 1 more damage on our opponent. I and our whole board wouldn't just die to Anger of the Gods as it currently does. So that might be a key misstep in this matchup. Yeah, but our opponent should be at 14 here. All right, and we're just going to attack with everything, I think, here. There's not really any reason to play into our opponent's counterspell here. We'll just get a forest, that's fine. All right, cool. And we put our opponent down to 3. So our opponent needs more than a board wipe here. They would need like Cryptic Command or something like that, and we can very easily play around Cryptic Command by attacking with just those, and then if our opponent taps everything down, we can fire up a Treetop Village and just win the game. Which is kind of what looks like is happening here. Yeah. So we'll play this forest just to triple check. Move to combat. Opponent taps down the team. We activate Treetop Village. Get the 4/1. And our opponent can't even play around it because they can't even bounce like the other thing. Yeah, okay, so they bounce that. We just float a green. That's fine. Activate this thing. They need Bolt as their last card. No, they just concede. All right, guys. Well, very good. We got the 4/1. Jund is obviously still a very good deck in Modern, and props to Todd on his list. Very good, and congratulations on his finish. I was very impressed by the deck. Everything seemed to work out well. We weren't drawing multiples of Lilianas or multiples of Dark Confidants, so maybe the 3 of each is excellent. The sideboard seemed fine. Maybe I'd like 1 or 2 more cards to fight against Tron. But overall, impressive, and I'm excited to see what Assassin's Trophy does for the deck. Because if the deck's this good without it, playing cards like Terminate and Abrupt Decay, which aren't great, they don't have the same versatility that something like Assassin's Trophy would. So I'm very excited to see what that will do in the future. And in a couple weeks' time, I'll revisit the archetype with those cards in it, and we'll play another league and see what that does. All right, well, make sure you like and subscribe the video. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you guys the next time. As always, taking suggestions for what I should play next. If you want to see more of this or more control or whatever, please let me know in the comments below, and have a great rest of your day.